So we're halfway through the first day. We're getting lots of bright lights shining on us. And I'm here with John V. Wilshire.
Hello.
Who's going to be speaking later today?
Yes, 4.
At 4.
At 4.
First question, what does the V stand for?
Guess is always I always make people guess.
Verisimilitude.
Nope.
Victor.
Yes. Oh, no one ever actually gets an actual name
Really?
first time. Yes. Yeah. People usually default to Vernon because it's the most common V known in popular culture. Thanks to Mr. K. Thanks, Vernon.
Let's get some light on your face here. We can turn around this way. Look at that. There should be a light on your face now.
God, I've shaved and everything.
So tell me, what are you going to be talking about later on?
The weird thing is, right, so I arrived in training in Bournemouth last night with a talk, fine, done. Thought, I'm going to do that. And then I spent 4 hours this morning rewriting something else because I just thought I thought it would be more interesting to think about how the work that we all do in this room might work.
Yeah.
And how the things that we do then, what Wittgenstein might call the inherited background, means that we often do things that don't work, just because we assume that that's the way that they work.
Yeah.
So just sort of like challenging some of the assumptions, like brands always have to be consistent and not fragmented. Why is that?
Yeah.
What happens if you make fragmented brands that can actually contradict themselves openly in different things just by doing appropriate thing?
So when you do consulting for people and
Yes.
sort of around the sort of areas of thinking differently in marketing,
Yep.
I suppose, but you make stuff.
Yes, I
and,
do.
You've got your beautiful artifact cards here. They've been going for how long now?
So they came out last June. So there was about 8 months of open development where I would just sort of send people stuff in the post and go, "Can you try these?" There you go. See what happens with those. Because I was interested in sort of finding something in the middle of playing cards and post-it notes. Because post-it notes are horrible little disposable things that don't retain enough of the qualities that you need when you're working with ideas and trying to move them around. Because they were designed to be used in isolation, and yet through UX and strategy and workshop, we use them together to try and find shapes with things. It was just because it's the best thing in the stationery cupboard.
Yeah.
So I decided to sort of to find something better. So I started making blank playing cards that we called artifact cards. So they've been out since last June, and we've just redesigned the box. I'm trying to think if I've got. Should we go and nick one?
Yes, let's. Our brilliant goodie bags.
This isn't one of our bags, is it? These are just some of these that we're stealing. But essentially, so before I wanted to make them all in Britain. And we made the cards in Britain, but we didn't make the boxes in Britain. So we spent the summer redesigning the box. And then this is their first public appearance. So you just push up like there, and you get the cards out like that. And then we've designed them so that sort of like you have the notch there, which just sort of like lets you sit them on.
Oh, wow. Very clever. Look at that. So what other stuff have you got happening? Because you're just Mr. Do Things man.
Yes, do things and then see what happens. Well, interestingly, so you said about sort of like doing stuff in your talk just there.
Yeah.
And there was, so do you know Steph Lewandowski, coder at Makeshift? So he was talking about sort of like one of the things that he'd done was the, what do you call it again? The sort of like the, it hides cryptographics. It hides your sort of like messages and media things in cryptographics. And he said that people had asked him why he'd done it. And he said, one reaction that I could have said was because art. Just because I was doing it and just because I could see it, just because I was experimenting. But he found another more useful answer, which was sort of like, I don't know yet. Why are you doing that? I don't know yet, but only when I've done it will I be able to sort of like see it in relation to all other things that exist, and then work out what it does and what gets picked up for. But to the point, so what I'm doing next is I've got a project with the Oxford Side Business School, who run this brilliant programme called the Strategic Leadership Programme. It's been running for about 30 years, and it's all got the cream of the world's blue chip leaders going through the programme. But the woman who leads the course, Tracy, is really sharp, and she spotted that sort of like it has become a very successful course for this group of leaders. A certain set of old school traditional companies and old school traditional economies. So how do they sort of like make sure that they're getting to mix those people with the best of the new leaders and the new economies? So we're creating a 3D hack with all the people in the program design, program delivery, marketing, business development at the university, to show them how to sort of like to build a more fragmented and interesting story around all the things within the Oxford side
Wow.
business school. And then that culminates after the hack in a campfire at the weekends. And at the campfire, we will have the results of physical blacksmithing and virtual blacksmithing. In that we will have sort of like, we will show them the website and all the architecture that we've built, but we'll have Thomas Forsyth there making a set of brass keys. Except there'll be sandcastle. You could make them all the same, so it could be like mass manufacturing. And then there would just be a product. But we're interested in turning them into a service as well. So each one of the brass keys will have an individual fiducial mark printed by Chris Thorpe of the FlexiScale company, because you can print the sort of the details that go into the key as 3D printed objects, so you can do them all individually. So each key can be individually recognisable by a computer, and actually we will give one of the keys once cast to each one of the alumni, and it will have its own page on the new alumni site.
Wow.
Which means that they can tag their key with what leadership means to them, so you can see what leadership means as a group, as for everyone, or as an individual, but they can pass the product on to other people to say sort of like, go to the website and have a look at this. This is my sort of like route into leadership, but you will discover other things as well. So it's just sort of like playing with that idea of sort of like, is it a product or is it a service? And we'll be telling stories of leadership around the campfire while this is all this is going on, just to understand what leadership is for companies in the context of that.
John, thank you very much. I'm so looking forward to your talk now.
You're very welcome.